Imagine this. A company deliberately puts off implementing crucial security measures, leaving millions of users vulnerable to fraud. This isn't a dystopian nightmare. It's the reality that New York's Attorney General Letitia James has accused Early Warning Services, the parent company of Zelle, of doing. Let's dive into the details and see how this all unfolded. In July 2019, Early Warning Services, EWS, allegedly developed several critical security measures and rule changes to tackle fraud on its Zelle platform. But here's where it gets controversial. According to James's lawsuit filed in state court, EWS didn't roll out these measures until 4 years later, in 2023. That's right, 4 long years of potential exposure for consumers. But why the delay? That's the million-dollar question, and it's one that EWS is being pressed to answer. When Early Warning finally implemented these measures in 2023, the results were staggering. Despite a significant increase in overall transfers over the Zelle network, consumer losses to reported fraudulent activity plummeted by hundreds of millions of dollars. It's a stark contrast to the prior years, where consumers were constantly targeted by fraudsters, losing hundreds of millions of dollars to what the lawsuit calls preventable fraud. Meanwhile, EWS and its bank owners were raking in hundreds of millions of dollars from Zelle's growth. It's a grim picture, and it raises some serious questions about priorities and ethics. Phil Selden, a defense attorney specializing in government enforcement investigations, sheds some light on this. He suggests that for some companies, growth and frictionless transactions might take precedence over other considerations. Speed is great if you're a track star or operating a race car, he says, but sometimes speed without proper training for those catching fraud, waste, and abuse can be problematic. It's a chilling reminder that in the race for profits, consumer safety can sometimes be left at the starting line. This lawsuit isn't happening in a vacuum. Federal regulators have previously sued EWS over consumer fraud on Zelle, echoing many of the allegations in the earlier Consumer Financial Protection Bureau (CFPB) lawsuit. But here's where it gets even more interesting. The CFPB withdrew its complaint against EWS and 3 of its large bank owners in March, as the Trump administration began to dramatically reduce the CFPB's mission and staffing. It's a move that has left many wondering about the commitment to consumer protection at the federal level. James, however, is not backing down. No one should be left to fend for themselves after falling victim to a scam, she stated in a press release. I look forward to getting justice for the New Yorkers who suffered because of Zelle's security failures. It's a bold stance, and it's one that has sparked a heated debate. Early Warning, for its part, disputes the lawsuit's depiction of the 2019 to 2023 period and the alleged security enhancements and rule changes. The company claims it adopts evolving measures regularly to combat the dynamic nature of fraud and scam tactics. But this is the part most people miss. The lawsuit specifically calls out the 2023 measures as too little, too late, arguing that EWS did nothing to remedy the vast losses consumers already suffered due to its failure to adopt basic network safeguards in 2019. And even with those safeguards in place, Zelle continues to facilitate substantial fraudulent activity. It's a damning indictment, and it's one that has left many wondering about the true extent of the problem. But let's not forget the bigger picture. This lawsuit is just one example of how state attorneys general are stepping up to fill the void left by a seemingly disengaged federal regulator. John Brault, a vice president at the National Consumers League, puts it bluntly. We have seen an administration that has decided to step back and away from consumer financial protection in any meaningful way, and states are having to step up or otherwise consumers would be left out in the cold. It's a stark reminder of the importance of vigilant consumer protection, and it's a call to action for all of us to stay informed and engaged. So, what do you think? Is EWS to blame for the delays in implementing these security measures? Or is this all just a political stunt, as the company claims? And what role should the federal government play in consumer protection? The debate is heated, and the stakes are high. One thing is clear. This is a story that's far from over, And this is the part where we as consumers need to pay attention and demand better, because at the end of the day, it's our money, our security, and our future that's on the line. So what's your take? Let's discuss in the comments below.